Before he was a millionaire, before the championship rings, the max contracts, the all-star nods, before the nickname Spicy P even spiced its way into the NBA lexicon, Pascal Siakam was just a skinny kid from Douala, Cameroon, weaving between church pews and dirt roads, chasing not a basketball dream, but a higher calling, literally. He was supposed to be a priest, and yet here we are, zooming past the arched gates of a $711 million Mediterranean revival mansion tucked into the quiet luxury of Alverna, Indianapolis. This is where Siakam now calls home. A sprawling estate surrounded by 4.6 acres of serenity, the kind of place where champagne flutes clink softly on marble countertops and the echoes of NBA playoff crowds are traded for the hush of a 1,750-bottle wine cellar. But to truly appreciate the man who lives here, you have to rewind the story, way back. To a boy whose destiny was meant to be written in sermons, not stats. To a family that valued humility and God above all. And to a twist of fate that swapped prayer robes for basketball shorts. What follows is not just the tale of an NBA star. It's the slow burn of a legacy born from grit, grief, and greatness. This is not just a house tour. It's a story of how resilience can build more than empires. It can build palaces. So grab your seat courtside, or better yet, by the fireplace, and let's step inside the world of Pascal Siakam. Tucked away in one of the most exclusive corners of Indianapolis, Pascal Siakam's $7 million estate is more than just real estate. It's a quiet monument to a life built brick by brick, bounce by bounce. From the outside, the home stands like a cinematic postcard from the Mediterranean coast. Red tile roofing, stucco walls, and stone-carved columns greet you before you've even stepped through the oversized wrought iron doors. It's a bold yet refined aesthetic, the kind that says, yes, I made it, but I made it my way. Sitting on 4.6 acres of lush, manicured land, this property offers not just privacy, but presence. It feels like a fortress, but not one built to keep the world out. No, this is a space designed to welcome, to entertain, to celebrate. You'll find a hand-carved limestone fountain bubbling in the central courtyard, like a heartbeat of calm. You half expect a violinist to appear at sunset. Step inside and the vibe shifts, grander, warmer, more intimate. The main living room, if you can still call it that, is over 100 square feet alone. High ceilings soar above limestone floors, with a fireplace so ornate it belongs in a Tuscan villa. Every corner of this house tells a story. Stained glass windows that cast colored shadows on antique furniture, gold accents peeking from custom fixtures, and lighting that feels curated by a Broadway set designer. This isn't just luxury, it's theater. The master suite is, frankly, outrageous. Soaring 18-foot ceilings crown a bedroom that feels more like a five-star resort penthouse. There are his and hers, boutique-style closets so vast they might have their own zip codes. And the bathroom? Spa-worthy, down to the rainfall showers and heated marble floors that practically hug your feet. But Siakam's palace isn't just for sleeping or lounging. No, this is a home built for a champion's lifestyle. There's a wood-paneled executive library with its own fireplace, ideal for moments of quiet strategy. A private home office steps away from a sprawling recreation room with a wet bar and billiard setup. And then there's the wine cellar. Because of course there's a wine cellar, housing 1,050 bottles like precious artifacts from a life well-earned. This mansion is elegance with muscle. It doesn't whisper wealth. It hums with intention. Every room is a nod to Siakam's journey, deliberate, elevated, and grounded in discipline. And as we float from room to room, hallway to hallway, it becomes crystal clear. This home isn't just where Pascal Siakam lives, it's where he reflects, where he recharges, and where he quietly reminds the world, from Cameroon to Indiana, he's built this legacy on his own terms. Now, what's a mansion without a few head-turners in the garage? And trust us, Pascal Siakam doesn't just pull up, he arrives. Whether it's a post-game cruise or a morning coffee run, the man moves with the same flair off the court as he does on it. His car collection, a curated trio that speaks volumes about identity, intent, and style. First on deck is the GMC Yukon Denali. This isn't just an SUV, it's a rolling fortress with luxury stitched into every seam. Think powerful V8 engine, panoramic sunroof, and heated leather seats that feel like courtside cushions. It's big, bold, and practical, the kind of ride you want when you're 6'9" and traveling with teammates or family. And with magnetic ride control, every bump in the road feels like a rumor. It's Siakam's version of first class, only grounded. Then comes the wild child, the BMW X6M Sleek, aggressive, fast enough to make your heartbeat sync with the engine. With its turbocharged V8 and precision German engineering, the X6M doesn't just hug curves, it dances with them. It's a high-octane ride that mirrors how Pascal plays when he's in playoff mode. Fast, fearless, and unapologetically stylish. If the Denali is the boardroom, the X6M is the after-party. And finally, we have the understated crown jewel, the BMW X5. A little more relaxed, a little more refined. It's the kind of SUV that says, yes, I can dunk on you, but I also read historical biographies and sip green tea. It's built for balance, luxurious, quiet, and tech-savvy, with advanced safety systems and interiors so plush they'd make a spa jealous. Perfect for everyday driving, business meetings, or slipping through the city unnoticed, if such a thing is even possible for Spicy P. Together, these cars aren't just transportation. They're extensions of Pascal himself, reliable when they need to be, relentless when it counts, and always, always moving forward. Long before the red carpets, the champagne showers, or the six-figure car keys, Pascal Siakam's world was much smaller, much simpler, and far more sacred. Born in Douala, Cameroon, he was the youngest of 4 boys in a household governed not by noise or excess, but by discipline, humility, and faith. His father, Chamo Siakam, was both a respected mayor of Makanene and a quiet moral compass, the kind of man who believed deeply in 2 things: God and structure. Naturally, that vision extended to his children, especially Pascal. From a young age, Pascal wasn't groomed to be an athlete. He wasn't chasing hoop dreams or watching highlight reels. Instead, he was preparing for the priesthood. At just 11 years old, he was sent to St. Andrew's Seminary in Bafia, where days began with prayer, not practice. The basketball court was replaced by chapel benches, and ambitions were rooted in scripture, not stats. To his father, Pascal wasn't just another son. He was the chosen one, handpicked to carry the torch of Catholic virtue. But here's where destiny does what it does best. It surprises. Because somewhere between the liturgy and the silence, Pascal began to hear a different calling. A whisper in his gut that maybe, just maybe, his future wasn't inside church walls, but out on open courts. He couldn't quite explain it. He wasn't like his older brothers, Boris, Christian, and James, who had already made names for themselves in NCAA basketball. Pascal had barely touched a ball. He wasn't even interested, until he was. That shift came in 2011 at a local basketball camp hosted by none other than Luc Mbah Amout, Cameroon's own NBA success story. Pascal wasn't polished. He wasn't flashy. In fact, he looked like a fish out of water. But what he lacked in form, he made up for in fire. hustle, heart. He ran like his life depended on it, dived for every loose ball like it owed him money. It was messy, raw, and utterly unforgettable. Luke saw something. So did Masai Ujiri, the Raptors exec and African basketball ambassador. And that spark lit a fire that hasn't dimmed since. What's astonishing isn't just that Pascal Siakam made it from the seminary to the NBA. It's that he did it without shortcuts, without hype, and without ever losing the values he was raised on. Hard work, faith, family, and above all, humility. From those red clay roads of Makanene to the hardwood floors of the NBA, the foundation of Pascal's journey was never fame. It was purpose. Pascal Siakam's pivot from priest in training to power forward wasn't some Hollywood script. It was awkward, gritty, and full of blind leaps, like most honest transformations are. After that fateful camp with Luc Mbah a Moute in 2011, Pascal wasn't instantly launched into stardom. No shoe deals, no viral dunks, just a boy with a late start and a long shot. But what he lacked in polish, he made up for with an engine that wouldn't quit. A year later, he returned to Mbah a Moute's camp. And this time, he didn't just hustle, he stood out. Enough to catch the eye of the scouts at Basketball Without Borders, a prestigious global program for top international prospects. There, among teenagers who'd spent years in elite training academies, Pascal was the outlier. No formal coaching, no stat sheets, just raw fire. And that fire got him a plane ticket. At 18, Siakam left everything he knew, his country, his culture, even his comfort, to chase a future in the United States. But don't imagine him waltzing into some five-star prep academy. He landed at God's Academy in Louisville, Texas, an institution as modest as its name suggests. No fancy facilities, no screaming crowds, just cold gyms, late practices, and a quiet uphill battle. At first, he didn't play in major tournaments. He wasn't even on most recruiting boards. But in walked Marvin Menzies, head coach of New Mexico State University, and a man who had a knack for seeing gold in the unpolished. Marvin wasn't sold on Pascal's resume, because there wasn't one. He was sold on the intangibles: work ethic, character, drive, the stuff you can't teach. From there, it was a slow grind upwards. Redshirted his first year due to injury, Siakam used that time not to sulk, but to study. He devoured film, soaked up coaching, and transformed his body. By his freshman season, he was crowned WAC Freshman of the Year. A year later, he averaged over 20 points and 11 rebounds, earned WAC Player of the Year, and declared for the NBA draft. This wasn't luck, this was labor. And if you ask Pascal, he'll tell you. The seminary didn't waste his time, it trained him. Discipline, humility, sacrifice. That structure laid the foundation for the kind of mental toughness that separates good players from great ones. He didn't take the shortcut. He took the stairs. Every single one. When Pascal Siakam entered the 2016 NBA draft, he wasn't a household name. He didn't have the viral mixtapes or the blue-chip pedigree. But when the Toronto Raptors called his name with the 27th overall pick, they weren't just betting on potential, they were betting on possibility. His rookie season? Nothing glamorous. Siakam split time between the Raptors and their G League affiliate, Raptors 905. But instead of seeing it as a demotion, he treated it like boot camp. And by season's end, he wasn't just participating, he was dominating. He led Raptors 905 to a championship and was named G League Finals MVP. It was a whisper of what was coming. Year 2, he became a key bench contributor. Steady, relentless, efficient. The whispers turned into buzz. Comparisons to Draymond Green started to surface, not because of the numbers, but because of the motor. That relentless, always-on hustle. But it was the 2018-19 season where the spark turned into a firestorm. Suddenly, Siakam wasn't just filling a role, he was rewriting it. Averaging nearly 17 points a game and stretching his range beyond the arc, he became the Swiss Army knife of Toronto's lineup. Offensively, he slashed through defenses like a hot knife through poutine. Defensively, he was everywhere. And when the postseason arrived, he was ready to shine. Game 1 of the 2019 NBA Finals, Toronto versus Golden State. Bright lights, big moment, and Siakam dropped 32 points like it was a casual Tuesday. In Game 6, with the championship on the line, he poured in 26 clutch points, including the basket that sealed Toronto's first NBA title. The city roared. The nation erupted. And Pascal? He smiled, wide, humble, and impossibly grateful. That summer, he was named the NBA's Most Improved Player, a title that felt almost too small for the transformation we had witnessed. The Raptors showed their faith by locking him into a 4-year, $130 million max contract. And Siakam didn't blink. He kept building. In the 2019-20 season, he was named an All-Star starter, the first G League alum to do so, and earned All-NBA second-team honors. He was no longer just Spicy P, he was a franchise cornerstone. Even during the strange Tampa season of 2020-21, when the Raptors were forced to relocate due to the pandemic, Siakam remained a steadying force. Career highs in assists, his first career triple-doubles, multiple Eastern Conference Player of the Week awards. He didn't just show up, he led. And by the time 2024 rolled around, Pascal Siakam had already etched his name into Raptors lore. But even legends know when it's time for a new chapter. And on January 17th, 24, the page turned. In a blockbuster trade, Siakam was sent to the Indiana Pacers. A fresh start, a new system, and a different stage. Some wondered, would Spicy P still sizzle away from Toronto's warmth? He answered that question fast. From his very first game, Siakam felt like the missing puzzle piece Indiana didn't know it needed. In his Pacers debut, he dropped 21 points, setting the tone for what would become a statement season. Just weeks later, he recorded a triple-double against the 76ers, reminding everyone that his game wasn't tied to geography. It was tied to grit. And when the playoffs came knocking, Pascal opened the door with authority. He torched the Milwaukee Bucks in back-to-back games, dropping 36 and 37 points, carrying the Pacers on his back like it was 2019 all over again. In the Eastern Conference Finals, he was unstoppable, averaging nearly 25 points per game and earning MVP of the series honors. The Pacers, once overlooked, were now contenders. Though they ultimately fell to the Thunder in a hard-fought NBA Finals showdown. Siakam had done more than prove he belonged. He'd proven he could elevate an entire franchise. That summer, Indiana responded the only way a franchise should, with faith. They handed him a 4-year, $189.5 million deal, making it crystal clear. Siakam wasn't just a rental. He was their guy. In the 24-25 season, he delivered once again. Game winners, 30-point masterclasses, another All-Star selection, his third. And once again, he led Indiana back to the NBA Finals, this time as their leading scorer and rebounder, a warrior, a captain, a cornerstone. With the kind of resume Pascal Siakam has built, championships, max contracts, All-Star selections, it's no surprise that by 2025 his net worth sits comfortably around $30 million. But what makes Pascal's fortune fascinating isn't just the size of it, it's the story behind every dollar. None of it came from hype. None of it was inherited. It was all earned, in sweat, sacrifice, and sleepless nights. His biggest financial leap came with that $130 million extension from Toronto, followed by an even heftier $189.5 million deal with Indiana. But Siakam hasn't just sat back collecting paychecks. He's thinking beyond basketball. He's building a legacy that lasts longer than a contract. One of his standout ventures, a delicious collaboration with McDonald's Canada. In February 23, the chain launched the Siakam Swirl McFlurry, a playful, limited edition dessert inspired by his signature spin move and Raptors team colors. Vanilla soft serve, hot fudge, crushed red Smarties, simple, bold, and unmistakably spicy pea. Fans loved it, and marketers took note. This was a player who could move both defenses and product lines. But his vision stretches further than fun treats. In a deeply personal move, Siakam partnered with the University of New Brunswick to launch the Pascal Siakam Scholarship, aimed at supporting Cameroonian students pursuing technology-based programs. For him, it wasn't about publicity. It was about purpose. About sending the elevator back down for the kids who are still dreaming from the places he once stood. So yes, he's rich, but he's also responsible, strategic, intentional. Because when Pascal Siakam builds, whether it's wealth, a brand, or a scholarship fund, he builds it to last. Behind every stat line, every game-winning bucket, every roaring crowd, there's a quieter truth about Pascal Siakam that rarely makes headlines. His life has always been guided by something deeper than basketball. Faith and family have remained the twin anchors of his identity long before the fame and long after the final buzzer sounds. His father, Chamo Siakam, wasn't just a civic leader. He was the moral backbone of the family. A devoted Catholic and the former mayor of Mackinac, he instilled in Pascal a profound sense of discipline, humility, and reverence for something greater than oneself. When Chamo tragically passed away in a car accident in October 2014, Pascal was stranded in the US, stuck in a frustrating visa limbo that prevented him from attending the funeral. It wasn't just heartbreaking, it was formative. That absence, that pain, became fuel. He wasn't just playing for himself anymore. He was playing for a father he couldn't bury, but could still honor with every rebound, every assist, every championship. And that reverence extends to his brothers too. Boris, Christian, and James, all of whom played NCAA Division I basketball. Their journeys paved a path that Pascal followed, even if his start came late. And then there's the nickname, Spicy P. It's not just a marketing hook, it's who he is. Flashy without being arrogant, competitive without ego, a little heat, a lot of heart. Like his signature spin move, Pascal's personality is smooth, unpredictable, and full of life. But perhaps most telling is what he does when the cameras are off. Whether it's launching scholarships, mentoring youth, or simply staying connected to his roots in Cameroon, Siakam uses his platform with the grace of someone who hasn't forgotten where he came from. Because he hasn't. The man who once lived in silence at a seminary now lives with purpose in the spotlight. Yet the values never changed. Just the uniform, just the view, just the stage. If this story of resilience, royalty, and rising from the dust inspired you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a deep dive into the real lives of the world's most extraordinary stars. And now, it's your turn. Which part of Pascal's journey moved you the most? The mansion? The McFlurry? The memories of his father? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's celebrate this modern legend together. Until next time, keep chasing your dreams, and remember, sometimes the quietest beginnings lead to the loudest legacies.